What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Falling Forward, making standards come alive. Everyone, my name is Dozy Azima, and this is my show about Christ, inspired for Christ. So, everyone, for those of you guys that have not been following me, maybe this is your first time seeing this episode, I want to let you know that I am 27 years old and still a virgin. I know, real life, like a real life virgin. I've never masturbated before. That's not my ministry. Never dealt with homosexuality. That's not my testimony or story. So I've lived an interesting life. Like I played ball, went to the NFL, all of that stuff. But in me being a virgin, I'm just here to do an episode today about things that nobody's ever said about being a virgin from a male perspective. So you have a lot of men out there that decide, hey, I want to live a life of celibacy. I don't want to be out here having sex. Or you got a lot of young men that are still virgins and have not tested the waters yet. And there are things that you have no idea about, that nobody's ever spoken about, because few men in this world have actually been virgins and been vocal enough to say what they've went through. So I'm just going to tell you, title of the episode, Being a Virgin. And this is stuff that nobody could tell you because they've never been through it or walked it in this walk. But here's the truth. Let's just say, just being brutally honest, first thing, I am super sensitive, not emotionally. So it's just life. It happens. So I could be reading a book. I'm triggered. But what no one told me and what I had to learn on my own was that my body was going to react regardless. So from that, when my body reacted, I had to make a decision. Most men, your body reacts and you take it as you need sex. No. Your body is telling you that it wants sex. But most men will take it as you need sex, so you'll masturbate, watch porn, try and find a girl or something. Whether you win or not, you take an attempt at it. But from going through this for so long, I've understood that my mind and my body are not connected. So my body does a lot of stuff that I'm like, well, it is what it is. And my mind is totally fine because I'm a man. My body craves sex. So really what I'm trying to say is nobody told me, and I want you guys to understand this, that when you stop having sex, or if you're a virgin, nobody told me that I have to fight naturally being a man. So what scares me in my Christian walk and in my life is the fact that being with a woman or being around a woman or touching a woman comes so naturally. It scares me. It scares me because the fact that I'm a man bleeds out of me, and without knowing, if I'm not paying attention, I will be a man around a woman. And I will naturally draw her to me or draw to her. And what am I saying? Just to go back to being super sensitive. So, and yeah, you guys know I just said that I'm sensitive. However, not emotionally, physically, if you get what I'm saying. If you get what I'm saying. But when I say I'm sensitive, I've understood that, hey, it's just my body saying it wants sex. It doesn't mean I need sex. So you have a lot of men out here, you fall into issues and cheating, or maybe your wife is pregnant or whatever, and you'll say, hey, my body's reacting, so now it means I need sex. No, it means your body wants sex. But no man can tell you that, because every time their body has reacted, they've went or attempted to do something to get sex in some way. Masturbating, obviously the most common thing. But you have a lot of men, even now in marriage, and I'm just being 100. You have a lot of men in marriage that their body will react and they'll say, hey, I'm not getting enough sex. No, your body wants sex. It doesn't mean it needs sex. But because we're so used to feeling it when that happens, in our mind as men, we've trained ourselves to think that we need sex when our body reacts. No, you want sex. Now, I'm not saying you're not getting enough sex. Some of you guys are just not getting enough sex in marriage. I get that. Matter of fact, there's a lot of men out here not doing that. But I get that. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that There's a certain level of control that the Lord has given me from waiting till marriage. But I do understand that when your body reacts, you do not have to jump. So that's something nobody told me, but it's real life. I can even say, I can tell you being a virgin, I was about 24, 25. My body was on fire all the time. I'm talking about you wake up because your body's on fire. But nobody tells you that if you decide to live a life of celibacy, that's going to happen. Especially if you've been out there having sex, your body, this will happen. But nobody says it, which is why I'm telling you. Your body will react. Once you take it away, your body's still going to crave it no matter what. It doesn't die. When people say, hey, I've been out here praying, seeking the Lord, whatever, my body's, is not reacting like that to women, that's a lie. Some men, okay, maybe some men, okay. But for me and myself, and I know a lot of other men, most men, to be honest, your body will react, which is why most men end up falling and having sex. But your body will react. So I went through a period of maybe like a month or so. I was 24, 25, just graduated college. My body was on fire constantly. 24/7. On fire constantly because it was craving sex that much. I had to make a choice. Do I masturbate? What do I do to stop it? I had to endure. I prayed and all of that. I just had to endure. Your body's on fire. What are you going to do? So a lot of men will naturally find somebody or whatnot, but I wasn't going to mess up the journey that God had for me. And yes, opportunity is constantly there. And I love women. And the reason I'm stating that is because I could have had sex. I could have instantly went and found somebody. I could have instantly hit somebody up. But the fact that I did it, it gave me an extra strength to disconnect my body from my mind. But I'm telling you this because for those of you guys that are going to go on a celibacy journey, or for those of you guys that are virgins, this is going to happen. Or it very well may happen to you. So I'm telling you now to prepare you for that. Prayer is a solution for that. And you will have to thug it out. Like, it is what it is. Put your phone away, whatever, because everything you do will try and feed into it. I couldn't watch movies. I couldn't do anything because I would pick a movie that was going to be a little sexual to fuel it. So I had to just do nothing. For like a good month, my body was on 24/7. 24/7. And it's visible too. But even to digress and to move on past that, when I say that nobody told me that I have to fight my natural essence of being a man, in my walk of being a virgin or even being celibate and just let's say you stopped having sex, I naturally, and I had to learn this, I naturally would go to a woman and touch her by her elbows. Now, for those of you guys that don't know this, that's a term of endearment toward a woman. Go ahead and touch a woman by her elbows and grab her tight or something. That's a term of endearment. But nobody told me that my body and me as a man naturally would do that. So what happened was I noticed the way women were reacting. And I was like, this means something. But I naturally was doing it to everyone. So now you get friends that are like, hey, I'm feeling you. And it's like, I thought we was just friends. I didn't say anything. I didn't do anything, not understanding that me as a man was naturally drawing them to me without saying words. So I'm telling you, even if you decide to take a walk of celibacy or you're a virgin right now, I'm saying, hey, you will have to fight your natural male essence of being a man. And I'm not saying destroy it. No, that's great. And it's made for marriage because what happens is you're craving marriage. But if you're not married, then you have to put that in a nice place. At least put it in this nice place and wait for it to come out. But I had to be very conscious about what I did and the way I touched a woman and the way I acted around the woman, because naturally I was a hunter. Naturally I was pursuing women, whether it was with words or not. Naturally as a man, nobody told me that, I was going to be out here doing things like this. Now, I will say that in my church, Apostle Milton and Apostle Virginity Roman have been great spiritual parents to me. They taught me so much as far as when you touch a woman on her back, if you touch her low, that means something, all of that. So I learned all that stuff. So I'm not saying I didn't know any of these things. There's a lot I knew, but there's also certain things that just as a man, nobody could tell me because they never walked that walk. So nobody knew, hey, you have to fight your body. You have to fight your mind sometimes. And it's easier said than done. But I'm telling you, real life, when your internal body and your internal male essence is just saying, hey, you want sex. This is what you're going to do. And you're naturally doing it. So I realized I would naturally do things toward women that would let them know I'm interested. Oblivious to the fact that I'm doing it. But just the fact that my male code was saying, hey, this is what I want. And I may not even be interested. I was just naturally doing, touching a woman on certain parts of her body, certain way on her shoulders. I was just doing that, and I would realize the reaction, and I had to take a step back and realize, hold on. I can say this is safe to statistically and technically I can say these are safe things, but I can tell from the way women are reacting to the way I'm touching them, I can't do that. I can't just go around doing all this stuff. Like, nobody would tell you this, especially being a virgin or even in celibacy. Hey, you have to cut this stuff off. You have to be very aware of what you're doing and how. And for instance, I'll say this. Being a virgin, being a virgin, I knew this, but I did have to learn that, hey, when you talk to a woman and when you start talking to her and, you paint this picture and you're planning everything and the Lord says no, you literally have to peel off a skin that you were giving her, and it burns and it hurts her. It's almost just as bad as sex. And I had to learn that. People don't tell you that. People don't tell you all this stuff. Just the fact of you being a man and you being a strong man, your natural essence paints a picture to this woman. But when you tell her that it's not, you're not it, or she's not it, or it's not meant to be, you're peeling skin off of her and you're hurting her. And I had to understand that because sometimes I did it with my words, but it's more my presence that did it. And I understood, hey, look, I have to tell my male DNA, you need to calm down. Being a virgin and walking this walk, if you're going to walk celibacy, you have to tell your male DNA, calm down. Stay in your place till marriage. Don't get rid of it. It's amazing. It's a blessing. Just have it stay in its place till marriage. So there's certain desires. And I do want to say this. Don't trip and say it's wrong. It's not a bad thing. It's just used in the wrong way. All that stuff is great for marriage, to be with your spouse, to have a great marriage, for all of that stuff. It's just used in the wrong way. So don't pray it off. No, pray it to be in its place to come at the right time. Or learn how you move. You have to be very intentional. Me being a man and the essence of me being a man, that's really what it is. The essence of you being a man, you have to learn and pay attention to it and control it, because you can get away with it. You can absolutely get away with it because you never said anything. You didn't actually do anything unbeknownst to yourself. You didn't actually do anything that crossed the line, like you weren't grabbing her in inappropriate areas. But your essence of a man said this. And nobody will tell you that because they've never done that. And they've always jumped with it. Or their body reacted and they've always fallen to it or went with it. I'm here to tell you, hey, if you're a virgin or you live in a life of celibacy and you want to start, these are things you will go through. So you have to tell your body no. You have to be able to stand and say, you have to be very conscious about what you're doing. Because praying is great, fasting is great, reading the word is great. Now it's time to activate everything that you built up in the spirit. So now physically, you have to say, all right, let me not touch a woman this way. I had to make sure I don't touch women by their elbow area, just giving them that enduring feeling. I had to make sure, let me be very strategic with my words, because just for me chilling and my essence was doing certain things to women. As a man, just because it was attracted to them, I was pulling them in. Absolutely, I was attracted to these girls, but I didn't want to pursue. But my essence was doing it without me even knowing. So I had to be very conscious of who we are. Man, there is a spirit of a man that is on you. You have a spirit of a man that is on you because it's who you are, it's who you were born with. Nobody would tell you this because they usually succumb to it. But you have to tell it. You control it. It doesn't control you. Because when you get married, you're going to have to control it then too. And say, hey, look, you are married to this woman. There's only one woman that you should be married to. You will not go to other places. So I want to let you know, as a man, there is an essence that you have to put in check. And you have to control it. And you have to know what you do. We have to learn how to disconnect our mind from our member. If you want to live this life and walk this walk. Your member will react. That's life. Nobody's ever told you that. You just think, no, it's going to react. Your body's going to react. It means you want sex. It doesn't mean you need sex. So I'm here to tell you, look, for all the men that's out here living this life of celibacy, maybe you want to do it. Nobody's told you how it's going to be. Now you know. For all the women that hear this and you want to know, I'm sure from a female angle, there's a lot of things that can go on too. That's, on your perspective, or maybe the same things. That's comment below and let me know. But I just want to pray for all the men out there and women that want to, go ahead and live this life of celibacy, and even the virgins. Because I have a lot of young men that's out here in the streets balling, doing great stuff and all of that have been hitting me up recently, and they haven't been having sex and they want to know what's going on. So this episode is for you especially as well. So, wonderful Father, I want to lift up the young men that have seen this episode, that are not out here having sex, but are feeling pressured to have sex. Father, I pray that you give them the strength to stand on their own 2 feet. They already have success on them. Father, I pray that you will show them their success and show them the end goal so that you can bring it back and give them the strength now for where they're going. Father, I pray that you give them a purpose, God, and not just do it just to do it. Or not saying I'm doing it to a certain age, but understand why they're doing it and how great the trophy will be for you, God, in heaven. Father, I pray you strengthen people, God, that are out here that want to live a celibacy life, but they're struggling and don't know how. Father, I pray you give them techniques and visions and ways to beat and pass every demonic attack, and every time their flesh rises, Father, I pray you teach them to put it in check. I pray for every man that has that essence of a man that is strong, or that's maybe not strong, but maybe emotional, but that man still comes out of him and it naturally gravitates and draws women and goes after women. Father, I pray you let them know that it is their flesh, or it is a spirit that's not at the right time. Father, so you let them know to put it in check, because any spirit that's not at the right time is still demonic. So, Father, I pray you let them know what's up, and you let them put that spirit in check. Father, I pray that you allow them to move it to the right time for when it's needed in marriage and in relationships and with their spouse, or with their girlfriend or whoever. But wonderful Father, I pray that you will strengthen this generation, strengthen everybody that sees this episode. Give them the ability to walk. Give them a spirit of purity to stand with it. Give them a spirit to fight. Because if you want to be pure, you're going to have to fight. So give them a spirit to fight. Throw hands at whoever comes to attack them or destroy them. Father, I pray that you are real and you let people know practically that, hey, if we are going to walk this walk, I need the power of Christ and his presence to walk with me all the time. So, Father, I pray that you instill people with your power and your glory. And I pray you will change their atmosphere. I pray you change their presence. I pray you remove friends if they're not needed. And I pray you strengthen people. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. Everybody, that's my spew on being a virgin and life as a virgin. So, if you like this episode, do me a favor. Like, comment, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think on the bottom. So, everybody, that's my spew. Catch me next week on Falling Forward, making standards come alive.